In this video, we're going to look at converting between degrees and radians. In particular, we're going to look at how to convert an angle measurement from degrees to radians and how to convert an angle measurement from radians to degrees. To see how we can easily convert between degrees and radians, we're going to consider what happens when we have a full rotation. We know that a full rotation is 360 degrees when measured in degrees, and 2 pi radians when measured in radians. So we're going to start with this equation that says 360 degrees equals 2 pi radians. Remember that when we do not explicitly make a label for the unit, we're implicitly assuming that that unit is in radians. So if we take this equation and we divide both sides by 360, what we will get is that 1 degree is equal to 2 pi over 360 radians. And of course, that simplifies to just pi over 180 radians. And so this shows that 1 degree, when converted to radians, would be pi over 180. We can also divide that initial equation by 2 pi on both sides. And when we do that, we get 360 over 2 pi degrees. And of course, that simplifies to 180 over pi degrees. And we see that that will be equal to 1 radian. And so here we see that 1 radian, when converted to degrees, will be 180 over pi in terms of degrees. And so these two equations give us the conversion factors from degrees to radians and radians to degrees. In particular, if we'd like to convert a measure in degrees to a measure in radians, we would multiply the degree measure by pi over 180, which is the radian equivalent of 1 degree. On the other hand, if we want to convert a measure in radians to a measure in degrees, we would multiply the radian measure by 180 over pi, which is the measure of degrees for an angle that measures 1 radian. And so once we multiply by the appropriate scale factor here, either pi over 180 or 180 over pi, then simplify, then we have the angle measure in the new unit, either in radians or degrees, respectively. In this example, we want to convert 120 degrees and negative 18 degrees to radians. For each of these, we're just going to use the conversion factor that we just discussed. For 120 degrees, to convert that to radians, we're going to multiply that by pi over 180. 120 over 180 will simplify as 2/3, and so this will be 2 pi over 3 when simplified. So 120 degrees in radians would be 2 pi over 3. We do the same thing for negative 18 degrees. We do have to remember that this is a negative angle, so the radian measure will be negative as well. We multiply negative 18 by our factor of pi over 180, and we notice that negative 18 divided by 180 will simplify as negative 1/10, and so this becomes negative pi over 10. So negative 18 degrees is the same as negative pi over 10 radians. In this example, we want to convert 2 radian angles to degree angles. In particular, we want to convert pi over 3 radians and negative 5 pi over 4 radians, both to degrees. So to do this, we're going to multiply the radian measure of our angle by 180 over pi. When the radian measure has a pi in the measure, notice that the pi will always cancel out. In this case, we just get 180 divided by 3, and that is 60 degrees. And so a pi over 3 radian angle is the same as 60 degrees. The same approach works for negative 5 pi over 4. We're going to multiply this by 180 divided by pi. We will observe the pi's will cancel. And so we have negative 5 times 180 all over 4. When we compute that, we see that this is negative 225 degrees. And so a negative 5 pi over 4 radian angle is the same as a negative 225 degree angle. Again, since the radian measure is negative, we should always make sure that our degree measure is also negative. If you'd like some extra practice, you can try these examples. Try to convert pi over 9 and negative 5 pi over 12 to degrees, and try to convert 100 degrees and negative 315 degrees to radians. The answers to all of these will appear in just a few seconds.